What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. I am joined here with the queen herself, Phinsanity 5. What's up? What's going on with you today?
What's up? You guys know I only acknowledge two queens, my mom and Hillary. So, let's get that out the way. Mom,
I'm saying of the Miami Dolphins. How about that?
Oh,
Is that
no.
better? No.
No.
I tried. At least I tried, y'all.
I appreciate it. I have a lot to go. I have a lot of good shoulders to stand on, Great female Dolphin fans out there who a lot of you probably don't know, but I know. So standing on their shoulders, I really hope that I do them justice over the next upcoming years.
You will, and I'm a little jealous right now because that jersey you're rocking is like legit number 5, custom made. Now I gotta go get in my custom made bag and get myself together.
You didn't have a custom made jersey yet? Oh my god!
I mean, I have custom made jerseys. I just never got one with my own name. I never did.
Listen, I have to legit get you to autograph because when people talk about your logo, right? Mm-hmm. I automatically think of the original logo. Like I never think of the new one that's in the background on your monitor for all those who know it. But originally it was the signature. So I actually need you to sign that so I can get it framed for my dad so he could put it, up in his man cave. What's up, Jamil?
I got you. I got you on there as long as he put a Tannehill next to it, but and that's not gonna happen. But we'll see, man. Y'all hit that like button on your way in. We appreciate y'all coming through. Yes, I already know that YouTube didn't send the notification again. According to them, they're working on it. We shall see. But they've been playing these games. But again, make sure you turn on your notification button. But how you can help is hit the like button. Hit that like button, and they will send it out to more people. YouTube always going on a hate campaign, for TD Fans Talk, but they gonna come back around. Okay. But yes, so talk to me, Phinsanity. What we got on the docket today?
Man, listen, I'm really on this nostalgia kick, with my team, off season. We shouldn't have been in the off season, but we got a whole week off. Another week off, and then we got a whole off season to worry about. So today, as promised, we're going to be reviewing some of the QBs in our history. Now, because TD decided not to do his homework, and I decided not to do the homework.
Why you don't do it?
Listen, it just sent me the notification. That's the funny thing. It just sent the notification.
It just sent the notification?
It just sent it out. It just sent it out. We are going to do the most memorable quarterbacks in Dolphin history. Now, listen, you've seen more quarterbacks than me. Like, if I really go back, to really remembering the games without having to go back and watch them, you're talking about Chad Pennington and on for me. I'm pretty sure you could go back to Fiedler. You could go back.
You know what, Phinsanity, I got to be honest with you, okay? Mm-hmm. I've been watching since the 90s, okay? Since a little boy, okay?
Okay.
But one of the craziest things, and many Dolphin fans, because if this is happening to me, this might be happening to a lot of Dolphin fans.
Yeah.
And y'all got to let me know in the comment section if I'm right or wrong here. Do you know that from Dan Marino all the way up to Tannehill, which was pretty much how many years? 14 years, 16 years?
Yeah.
It's a blur to me.
Right?
It's a blur. We've had so many QBs that
remember
this one did what that one did, and that one did what this one did. It's all a blur. And I don't know. Y'all gotta let me know in the comment section. Is that happening to you too? People be like, do you remember this guy? Yeah, but
you remember the name. You don't remember the name. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just such a blur.
Man. Listen. My dad started naming guys to me, and I'm like, how do you spell their name? It gets crazy to me. My dad really had to be my research team because I'm like, Dad, I don't remember who these guys are. Yes, I was sitting watching the games, but it's like what did they do for us? Like, we should really do a segment called "What Did They Do?" at this point.
But I wouldn't be able to add much content to it because I don't remember. Like, I'm sitting here, I went through the list, right? We're going to talk about a lot of these guys, but let me just talk about these two guys. In 2005, we have two quarterbacks that I don't remember nothing about. Gus Frerotte and Sage Rosenfeld. Like, I don't even remember them taking a snap. So it's mind-boggling to me, man, and it's aggravating because I'm like, when you go back in history, we've been through the ringers at the quarterback position, and it's just not right, man. I think that's why we have so much anxiety when it comes to quarterbacks, even in today.
You know what? M Shepherd 777 said it very, very beautifully. Losing a lot makes you forget real easy.
Nothing memorable. It's just crazy.
Dante Culpepper. Oh man, you know who I do remember, and like that I don't even think they ever took a snap for us. David Gerard. Was it David Gerard?
Hold on. See? You see what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about?
To me, at that time, it was so Dolphin-esque. Like, you get a quarterback, and then he gets injured, not on the field, but by a swimming pool. Like,
wow.
I remember all the times, and this is why this is going to be funny to me, because as a little girl, I really remember every single time my dad threw a remote, mad at the quarterback play or just mad at the team, because we legit blew a fourth quarter lead. We blew a late second lead. So if you guys see me laughing, it's laughing through the trauma, laughing through the pain. But TD, somehow, some way, we are going to get through these memorable quarterbacks. They don't have to be all good. A lot of them will be bad, but hey, we're gonna let you know why they were memorable and what they did for them to be so iconic and memorable to us. And to everyone, we're doing from Dan Marino on. So it's basically the non-Super Bowl era. How about that? Can we call this the non-Super Bowl? Because we're headed toward the Super Bowl now. I promise you that. We're heading there. We're marching halfway to a Super Bowl. So the non-Super Bowl QB era. You ready, TD?
Yeah. Give me 30 seconds. I'm helping him out. I got to put this on the charger for him. Here, give me here.
Family first. All right, guys. We're going to get through this together. Start putting in the comment section who you guys remember. If you want to put a memory that they gave you. My first memorable quarterback, and I'm pretty sure TD is going to know this, is the great one himself, Pat White. And for all of us who know about Pat White, it was because this young man was coming out of West Virginia, such a great dual threat quarterback, and the Dolphins were like, man, we got him.
How you gonna start with Pat White? Boy, oh boy.
And then it was the hit heard round the world.
What year was that?
Man, don't ask me. Don't ask me that. I was probably like maybe 8, 9, maybe. I don't know.
If anybody can put the year in the comment section, Pat White.
Oh man, that was against the Steelers, right? That he got hit.
Man, I don't even remember. That's what I'm talking about.
08, someone said 09. Got a lot of 09s, so yeah, I was somewhere around there. And I do believe it was against the Steelers on the sideline, if I remember correctly. And at that moment, I don't even think I really understood the impact of what had happened. You know, I just remember my dad being upset for a couple of weeks because everything that came after that was.
And he wasn't even a starting. He wasn't even a starting quarterback.
He wasn't.
Oh my gosh.
He wasn't. He had came in, right? To relieve someone. And on the first play, that's just.
Was that the first play?
I don't know if it was his first play. It probably wasn't.
Just terrible, man.
Go Pack, go. Congratulations on making it to the NFC Championship game. Dang, someone said Ron Jaworski. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Dang it. Scott Mitchell.
Well, he wasn't in that time frame, was he?
I mean, you're talking about since Marino retired? No. But he was there during Dan's stint, I believe. So he came from Marcus Vick. Oh my gosh. And the funny thing is Marcus Vick is not on my list. Is Marcus Vick on your list, TD?
No, he's not. That's what's crazy. See, even the list that they have out, right? There is even more quarterbacks than they have listed. Most lists will list all the starting quarterbacks we've had. We've had so many quarterbacks with the Dolphins.
Horrible. All right. You got to give me a QB, TD, and why that QB was memorable. Yep.
All right. Most since Dan Marino, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's gonna be easy for me. Ryan Tannehill was very memorable. Hey, that was part of the rules. Okay, you didn't say you said since.
He was on my list.
So Ryan Tannehill, if you think about it, we've had a lot of quarterbacks 1 year, 2 years, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 2 years, 1 year. And he was the first one that lasted 7. Some people say 7 too long, too many or whatever it may be. But he actually gave us hope. This was the first time where a quarterback got hurt, because people were criticizing our quarterback bad. And he got hurt, and for the first time, we were crying for him to come back. And that was the first time people appreciated Ryan Tannehill when he was out so long, and we thought he was gonna play. The day he was supposed to play, they ruled him out. That was against the Chicago Bears in Miami, because I remember I was across the street from the stadium. And me, my wife, my sister, and my brother-in-law, we were parked like at some little plaza across from the stadium. Okay, here you go. Across from the stadium. And we remember on the TV in the store, it was saying Ryan Tannehill ruled out. And that was the game of Brocktober. Brock Osweiler threw all those bubble screens to Albert Wilson. And we won that game. King and Drake fumbled on the goal line. That's neither here nor there. But we won that game. But Brocktober took us through a lot of happiness, and then all of a sudden he went back to being a bum, and we were crying for Tannehill, and we were so happy to get him back. That's the first time people actually appreciated him. But he was my most memorable quarterback, obviously.
That was the first time you appreciated him? No.
Not me.
Personally, the first time I appreciated Tannehill was after that playoff loss to the Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
What part? Listen, because we were like, you know what? A lot of us said if we were healthy, if we would have had Tannehill and all that, we felt like we would have put up a better showing in that playoff game. I'm not saying we would have won, but the fact that all the injuries we had going into that game, it was like, why I'm not going to say why would you show up, but it was bad. It was bad. A lot of our key starters. But Titty, what makes you think I did not like Tannehill? You and
your dad's always talking trash about him, man.
Listen, I liked Tannehill when he was on this team. I had to. No other choice. No other choice.
I just knew he was the first quarterback that took the anxiety out of every time a ball left the quarterback hand for us. You know, all the Cleo Lemons and the Pat Whites of the world had me nervous. You know, we actually had quarterbacks that would throw an out route 8 yards short consistently. Like, we saw some bad quarterback play before Tannehill. And nobody can deny that. Like, we've had some really bad quarterbacks, Vincent.
Man, listen.
Like, some really bad ones, man. It was hurtful to watch football. And that's when we had more emphasis on our run game. That's when, you know, when you had Ricky. I mean, you had different guys that you just fell in love with us running the ball more. You had no big expectations in the past game.
Mm-hmm. So this person that I'm going to next was never listed as a quarterback. Probably never got listen, but to me, if you line up in that position and they take the ball out your quarterback's hand and they trust you more than they trust the quarterback at this point, I'm gonna give it to you. And this is my wild card. He's not a quarterback, but he threw the ball. Ronnie Brown. He could run it and he could throw it. God. Ronnie Brown ushered in RPO, and I'm sticking with it. And the NFL.
Who was our quarterback in the Ronnie Brown years?
Pennington.
Oh my God! So what were your thoughts on Pennington?
He was all right.
He was like in today's NFL, he was your if average is 5 on a scale of 1 to 10, he was your 4.9 in today's football.
I would say he's better than a 4.9.
In today's football, when you look at the Mahomes of the world, of what Brady did.
You want to compare him?
See, no, I'm not. I'm comparing, but I'm putting him where he belongs on the scale. Y'all let us know in the comment section. Chad Pennington, scale of 1 to 10, where will you rank him if Mahomes is a 10 and Brady is a 10?
I give him a 6 at least.
A 6? I gotta see what some people say.
Yeah, we gotta give him a 6. But yes, Ronnie Brown is a memorable quarterback for us. Hands down. He deserves a spot because what he did.
Stop.
First of all, nah, because I'm taking this.
Now you're right though. He did throw some dimes. He did throw some dimes down the field too.
And he had to make a read. He had to make the decision whether to hand it off to Ricky or to take it himself. He had to make QB decisions that they're making in the league now. Give me Ronnie. You gotta give me.
You're bringing back you're bringing back depressing memories. Let me tell you why. It was fun. It was great, but we had to resort to that. Oh my God! It just brings me back to what we had to do to even have a chance to win. We had to ask our running back to run an RPO and drop dimes. That is just sad when you really think of it.
I mean, he didn't throw that much.
I'm just saying, but the ball was in his. This man probably was in the shotgun, in the wildcat, 15 plays a game, Phinsanity, maybe even 20 and some. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
It worked.
I didn't get that it worked. Like, we had a season where we went the whole season and we were called the Wildcat offense. Like a full season, not a wrinkle that we threw in. We had officially become the Wildcat offense.
Yes.
So you bringing back memories, man.
And he was our quarterback. Tell me he was not a quarterback. He may have not been
my
listed as a
God.
quarterback, but where he lined up, what they asked him to do, the responsibility of it. Granted, he probably wasn't calling the play in the huddle, but to have to make that decision, to have to make that read consistently, and for me, for the most part, 9 times out of 10, I believe he made the correct read. I would have to go back and watch that season. It is so far away, like very far, far, far gone. But it got us to 11-5. It got us a AFC East championship, and that man is a very underrated quarterback in the history of the Miami Dolphins. And Ronnie, if you ever see this clip, send me an autographed jersey because I will go to bat for you on this. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
He made it possible for the Lamar Jacksons. Let me stop.
But Chad Pennington would be number 3 on my list.
Okay.
Well, Dan Marino's number 1, that's why. But then I got Tannehill, then I got Chad Pennington.
Okay. I can see that.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm guessing after that you would go with who? Henny?
Chad Henne would have to be next.
Okay, so we're in the same ranking wise. I'm just listing out names of memorable QBs and why they're memorable, but you're ranking them. Okay. So what do you remember most about the Chad Henne era? Because I mean, we kind of remember the Pennington era for the Wildcat and all that, but what do you remember most about the Chad Henne era?
Not much at all. To be quite honest with you, I know he had a losing record. I think he lost more than he won for sure. Man, what do I remember? Who was our running back during that time?
So did he have? Okay, so I got to think about this. Did he have? No, I don't think he. I'm trying to think. I know Reggie, Ronnie. You had Ricky back then. You had Lamar back then. Someone said it was Ronnie. Ronnie was still there.
Oh my gosh, y'all stop adding these running backs. Oh, Ronnie Brown was. Oh, I thought you meant his quarterback. My bad. Ronnie Brown was the running back. So here's what was interesting. Now I do remember this because I just read it, but I remember now. Okay. Don't forget. Now, Henne got benched.
Yes.
In 2010, he went 4-4. He got benched for Chad Pennington, but the issue is Chad Pennington got hurt and Henne came back in, and that was a part of the issue. But he did retain his starting job in 2011. And he got hurt. He got hurt in that season as well. So he was always dealing with injuries as well. But again, he's a loser. He had a losing record in Miami.
Davey, don't call him a loser.
No, I didn't mean he's just a loser. He has a losing record. He was a loser in the NFL so far. Even though he got a Super Bowl ring, ain't that crazy? But he just couldn't get it done in Miami. He was a serviceable. See, I put all those guys in the same field: Chad Pennington, Chad Henne, Matt Moore. All of those guys, they're like the same to me. They're all the same to me. Listen. I don't put it. I mean, they're like their skill level. It just, it's no separation for me. Maybe you have it different.
I mean, okay, so like say we could only, since they're all in the same echelon for you, if you had to bring one of them back, who are you bringing back?
Out of all quarterbacks? Or just those 3?
Out of those 3. We could do all quarterbacks if you want.
I mean, I got to go Chad Pennington. Oh, wait. I would have to go Chad Pennington. That's the best bet that we have at this point. And I'm not including Tannehill in that. I was just saying out of those 3 guys that are all like the same for me, I would go with Chad Pennington over anyone else. You disagree?
Listen, I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. Chad Pennington's error, to me, if I were to try to compartmentalize it, to me, he was all right. Like I wouldn't be against it. He won his games. He did what he was supposed to do. You know, he didn't make, too many mistakes, if I can remember correctly. I could be wrong. But I mean, he was serviceable, like you said. What were the names you gave? You said Pennington, who else? Henny and who? See, here's the thing. And a lot of people can, I guess, relate to this. We never really got to see what Matt Moore would be throughout a whole season. But he's had moments. He's had moments of goodness, but he can't do it consistently. And
he's a journeyman now, though.
If you let other quarterbacks keep coming in and you're just sitting behind them and you don't take that step forward to where the coaching staff believes you could, to even give you a shot to be the starter without an injury happening or something like that, you kind of have to, I can't put Matt in their category because he was never a starter. I think that's where I looked at you kind of like crazy. But Matt Moore, for what it's worth, when you needed him to show up, he showed up, except for that playoff game. And to me, after that Jets game where he just went off in MetLife, we're going into the playoffs. We're thinking, you know what? We got Matt. We should be okay. And it was, yeah. So to me, I could never put him in that grouping, if that makes sense to you. I just feel like he's a backup.
I have to go backwards. I have to go backwards now because I think my whole list was messed up. Okay.
How is your list messed up?
Who did you have it? Who did you have at number one?
I didn't have anyone ranked at number one. I just started naming. I have a list of QBs, right?
Okay.
And I just started because you went off. I said Pat White just to fill the space and time, but no one would ever say Pat White is the most memorable QB in Dolphins history. He just had a memorable moment. I just figured, let's give Pat White in his moment. Let's give him his flowers. One of the greatest sacrifices ever known to this franchise. Let's just go on about it. Like, the man literally had football knocked out of him. Like, then he go try to play baseball after that or something like that. You got hit so hard. We're not going to do that to Pat. Pat, thank you for your sacrifice and the play.
It was a crush. I feel bad for him, man. Okay, well, I want to try to give you my order in so many ways.
Okay. Let's you want to put it in order? Okay.
So we all know Dan Marino starting in 99 or whatever. He's the top of the top, and it starts from there. Okay.
Yep.
My number 2 is Ryan Tannehill.
Okay.
My number 3, and before I name my number 3, I'm just curious with everybody else. What is your number 3? Hurry up and put it in the comment section before I let you know what mine is.
My number 3?
Yeah, what's your number 3? And then I'm going to give mine, but I want to see what people say in the comments too.
Listen, my number 3, and a lot of people are going to kill me for this. Number 3, number 4. Look, I give my what's the name? And this is just off of sheer camaraderie. My number 3, since Dan Marino, I know he's fairly young in his career. I'm going to have to say Tua, not for his play, but for what he did for this fan base before he even stepped on the field, for how he brought hope that we could absolutely get something possibly right in the next upcoming years. I know a lot of you guys are not sold on us, but a lot of people who truly understand the injury and what he went through with missing starters and all that truly believe that in a couple of years that this kid possibly could be playing in an AFC championship. Tua over Chad? Heck yes, because I'm telling you right now, this is off of, listen, like I said, it has nothing to do with his play. Nothing to do with his play. over the sheer hope. When we got Chad Henne, we didn't think we was going to do nothing with that. But what we think we could possibly do with Tua, I said, you guys are going to hate me for it.
Your number three is Tua?
TD, we're saying memorable. Think about what he did draft night. TD, even you were happy. I said it had nothing to do with what he did on the field. Just memorable. TD, our fan base had not felt anything like that in how long on draft night?
Phinsanity.
Is it not memorable? I said it was not because of on the field. Was that not memorable for us?
Nope.
TD, you lying. And you know it. I call 17.
Week 17 versus Buffalo was more memorable than his draft night.
TD, the way we felt going into this season, the way you felt going into this season about the kid potentially starting, his potential, that's more memorable than a lot of things. Than the horribleness, you want me to put the horribleness over that? Nah. I said 3 or 4. If you want to go with Fitz over that, sure, why not? Fitz is memorable. If you want to go with Pennington, if you want to go with Fiedler, sure. But what this kid, I promise you, in 2 to 3 years, when we redo this, y'all gonna be like, I'm looking at foresight. Y'all looking at right now. Foresight.
I had to go. But foresight don't tell you.
TD.
Foresight don't tell you nothing.
We said memorable. It doesn't have to be on the field necessarily.
Jay Fiedler would be the number 3 most memorable quarterback.
TD.
You know why?
TD.
Because he was the last Miami Dolphins quarterback to win us a playoff game.
TD, I don't remember Jay Fiedler. That's why I said these things are going to be different. I don't remember no Jay Fiedler. I don't remember a single, just watching as a kid. No.
That's what
I said. But there is generation.
You said Tua Tagovailoa.
Yes.
I have been on my best behavior on this stream. I ain't said a single thing about Tua Tagovailoa, and you just trying to light the fire.
I said this has nothing to do with what he did on the field. I said the way he galvanized this fan base.
He ain't galvanized nothing. The fan base was split in half. Half of them wanted him, half of them didn't.
Leader of that, huh?
Half of them wanted him, half of them didn't.
That's not true.
It is true. Half the fan base said, "Don't get this, bro." The other half said, "Get this."
Half, it was not half. It was not half. You had your sprinkles of people. Who wanted Herbert. You had your sprinkles of people who wanted to keep Rosen. And you had people who wanted, listen, I would have traded up for Joe Burrow. Sure, why not? When that was off the table, everybody wanted Tua for what he was going to bring. And that, to me, it was memorable to me. If you guys do not remember the narrative around this kid going into and how the Dolphins could not miss on him potentially, this has nothing to do from, what was it, October, November?
Okay, say that again. You just said it.
What?
The Dolphins could not miss on him.
Mm-hmm.
So far, that ain't holding up very well.
TD, what part of it had nothing? See, you're doing it from a standpoint now. I'm talking about the memory of when that kid was drafted and how even the media changed their narrative about us. How the media thought we were going to be somewhat better than we were. You're looking at it from right now after he played. I'm going back months, almost a year ago. He changed the whole narrative of our franchise because we drafted that kid. Don't act like he wasn't memorable. That was memorable, TD.
He didn't change the whole narrative. We had at least 10 quarterbacks that changed the narrative in the last 20 years.
Got your question? Was the media ever talking about the Dolphins before they got Tua? No. Soon as we draft Tua, everyone's talking about the Dolphins. That's memorable. That's cool. Is it not? Didn't you start your stream because there was nothing being talked about on the Dolphins on the national media? Isn't that why you started your stream? As soon as we drafted Tua, as soon as Tua put a foot on the field, and that's not memorable to y'all. I said it had nothing to do. He did not play up to his standard. We're not going to get into that. But the prestige, the aura around him, that's memorable. The narrative around him, that's memorable. And you're looking at it from a different angle.
No. I got to respond to your memorable, how you're evaluating memorable. You're taking a specific moment of drafting the kid as memorable.
It is.
But he already has a first season under his belt. You have to evaluate the whole thing, and was it memorable? See, we can be on cloud 1,000. We drafted him. But I be trolling when I say he was Pat White, by the way, y'all. But if he did come out and look like Pat White, then his holistic him, not memorable. So we can talk about a specific moment was memorable, but we're talking about the quarterback himself memorable. Like, who is the most memorable quarterbacks for the Miami Dolphins? And another factor to consider is being memorable. He's so fresh that everybody is going to remember. So
I'm talking about the nostalgia around it. That's memorable. A lot of us probably can go back and remember the feeling once they said that. I don't think too many people at that moment were disappointed in the pick. Now, if you want to keep it on the field, like strictly on the field, we can do that. But when I say memorable,
somewhere down there with Cleo Lemon and all of them,
huh? Because my first was that way. That wasn't a good memory.
We're not doing just on the field because he'd be down there with Pat White, Cleo Lemon, and all those guys. So I get it. We're not doing that. We're just doing memorable.
He's above that. He's above
what? He's above what?
Above Cleo Lemon and Pat White.
He above Cleo and Pat White?
TD, you're evaluating a rookie.
Listen.
Yes.
Joey Harrington was better than this kid, man.
As a really?
I was just messing around.
Yeah. We really about to rank these quarterbacks. Now listen, everyone's upset. It goes back to the memory of that, of what he did, of the way he changed the narrative about our franchise.
Did we give Pat White a fair evaluation?
What? What is that?
Did we give Pat White a fair evaluation? Did we give him enough time to really evaluate him?
Yes. He chose not to come back.
I mean, the man ain't even played like 4 games or nothing. Did we give Cleo Lemon enough time to? Did we give Cleo Lemon enough time? Cleo Lemon played 8 games. Cleo Lemon played 8 games. Was that enough time to evaluate Cleo Lemon?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. What about Trent Green as our quarterback? Was that enough time?
First of all, wasn't Cleo Lemon like the third option? Wasn't Cleo Lemon like the third option that season or something like that? Like, are we talking about starters or are we just talking about
quarterbacks in general? What about John Beck? John Beck.
Oh my gosh. I don't even remember John Beck. He's a blur to me. You want to talk about a blur? You want to talk about a name I heard, but I don't know him.
No, I was just saying all that because all these people keep talking about the kid had 9 games and you're trying to evaluate him. Oh, we've had quarterbacks who've had less. Trust me. All right.
Cleo was like the third option. What do you like? You can't bring Cleo in. You can't bring a lot of these guys in here.
Like Tyler Thigpen.
Great. He was great.
Oh my God! So I'm gonna try to go through this. I'm gonna go ahead and read some of them. Okay. All these guys were Dolphin quarterbacks. Let me see. This is ridiculous. I cannot believe
All right,
this.
and I'll keep track of how many I remember. Since Dan Marino?
Yes. All quarterbacks at some point. Backups, everything.
Okay.
Let me see. Well, Damon Hewitt starts it out. He was Dan Marino backup, but he went into the next season as well with Jay Feeler. Okay, Jay Feeler. Then you had Ray Lucas. He started 6 games for us, by the way, and went 2 for 4, 2 and 4.
Great.
Then you had Brian Greasy. I don't know if you remember him.
Yes.
Started 5 games for us, and he had a winning record. He went 3 and 2. Then you had AJ Feely. Wow, man, we going back. That was the Ricky Williams days for sure. He was 3 and 5 in his starts. And then you had Sage Rosenfels, 0 and 2 in his starts. Gus Frerotte had 15 starts. Now, Gus Frerotte put up a 9 and 6 season and 15 starts. He might have made the playoffs, but he was at the end of his career too. So, let me see. Dante Culpepper, 4 starts, went 1 and 3. I remember that.
I remember him. Yeah.
Joey Harrington, 2006. He played 11 games. He started 11 and he went 5 and 6. Man, we was bad. Cleo Lemon, 8 starts, 1 and 7.
That one was the most important. That one was the most important ever.
That was the slant pass.
Yes, saved a very important narrative. The first team to go undefeated and defeated. Like, he's memorable for that. He will always be. But
true, that was memorable. Trent Green, he had 5 starts. He was 0 for 5, 0 wins. John Beck had 4 starts. See, and this was our 2nd round pick. And he's the one who replaced Cleo Lemon as the starter in week 11. He went 0 for 4 though.
Proud of him.
Huh?
I said I'm proud of him. It takes a very special quarterback to have these records and to make millions of dollars.
Like, how do we get to a point where our starting quarterback, like Cleo Lemon, was an undrafted player out of Arkansas State?
You bring in undrafted guys to compete.
I'm just saying, like, but still, come on, man. What undrafted guys play quarterback in this league?
We were 0 and what at that time? Like, no one could get it done.
I'm just saying, man.
Just have to roll the dice and see what happens.
And then we get Pennington in the second. No, not Pennington, but then we got John Beck in the 2nd round, and he goes 0 for 4.
Proud of him.
Then Chad Pennington, started 20 games and he went 12 and 8, and that's a winning record.
And that's when everyone after that, I remember. That's kind of like when
what was memorable with Pennington was we won an AFC East title. Correct. And we went to the playoffs, and that man actually went 11 and 5 that season.
Yeah.
Something we could have did this year if we had the right people in the right positions, but that's neither here nor there. He actually won NFL Comeback Player of the Year that year.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that was back then, thinking about it, that was probably one of like the happiest seasons like that. I remember like my dad. So shout out to my dad. I remember him being happy that year.
But then after that, you got Chad Henne, who started 31 games and went 13 of 18, losing record.
I remember Henne.
Yep. Then you got Tyler Thigpen, who started 1 game and was 0 for 1. I remember that. Matt Moore, who started 17 games, but that has something to do with Tannehill's injuries.
Right.
And he was 8 and 9. He had a losing record. And he was the one who had to start that, post game against Pittsburgh. And I just felt like if Tannehill was in that game, we had a much better chance. I mean, when you look at how it went down, and they ended up blowing us out technically, but we still had a shot in most part of that game. And then, Ryan Tannehill, who played 88 games and had a losing record, 42-46 with Miami.
Sounds about right.
But had all the records under Marino.
Yep.
A lot of number two records. Jay Cutler. Oh my gosh, why they made me read this man's name? Started 14 games. He went 6 of 8. Jay Cutler, the easiest $10 million somebody can make.
The greatest.
Brock Osweiler, 5 games, and he went 2-3. Nobody had a winning record. Exactly. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, in 19 games, he went 8-11. And Josh Rosen, 3 games, was 0-3. And Tua Tagovailoa, they don't put a record here for his.
Got a winning record, though.
It just said very inconsistent. Some of his wins, they said very inconsistent. Some of his wins came due to being benched and replaced by Ryan Fitzpatrick. So that's what they put on here. That ain't me. That's the article.
That's the article. Listen.
So they didn't know who to give credit to on the wins, whether it was Fitz or Tua or the defense.
It's kind of like pitching in baseball, right? Kind of like
you don't know who to give the full credit to.
Listen, and this is why I have a QB jersey band, and this is why I really feel like if you bought in a QB jersey, I'll give a pass on Tannehill, but anyone else's other than that, since Dan Marino's, you done got a lot.
You done got a lot.
A lot. This is why I have a QB jersey band. I will not buy a QB jersey until they win me a Super Bowl.
Fact. What's up, Steven?
What's up, my guy? What's up? What's up, Phinsanity? What's up,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, man. Yeah, I like the gear, man.
Hey, man, you know how I do. DWA all day. Make sure you go to Miami Sports Music. Shameless plug.
Is there a release date yet? Official release date?
Yeah, man. Look, MiamiSportsMusic.com, Saturday night at 7:00. Everybody be on Miami Sports Music's Facebook and YouTube page. We're going to have an exclusive relaunch party, and we're going to have a big announcement with a couple of people that are on this show right now. So I'm pretty excited. It's going to be a good time.
Awesome, man. Man, I'm glad you're coming through because we having a great conversation.
Dude, so real talk, I was on my phone scrolling through Facebook and your live feed came on. And so all of a sudden I hear Joey Harrington, John Beck. I hear Dante Culpepper. I hear Tyler Thigpen. And I'm like, I need to get in this conversation.
Hey, don't forget Pat White, man. Don't forget Pat White.
Pat White lasted all of 2 seconds before the Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker knocked him out of his career. He never played again.
He went to baseball or tried to.
But Phinsanity says something that's just ridiculous that I got to get your opinion on, because we're talking about most memorable quarterbacks in the last 20 years. And something made her say Tua Tagovailoa.
Can I make my pitch? Can I make my pitch?
I want to say something, but you my girl, Phinsanity. You my girl, but I don't know.
Let me make my pitch, because what I said was it had nothing to do with what he did on the field. I said it had everything to do about how he changed the narrative around our franchise. We weren't getting looked at by the media at all, but just because of him, the media started reporting on the Dolphins. If the Dolphins should go with Tua, they were talking about why would they even put Tua in for Fitz. Like, there was so much, but also the feeling that we all had draft night when this kid was picked 5th overall. So to me, all that culminating is memorable. And I said it had absolutely nothing. Oh, Doug's here.
All right, check it out.
It had absolutely nothing to do with
Here's some real talk. There's this guy. Maybe you've heard of him. His name is Ryan Tannehill. Okay. And I'm pretty sure the hype for that man. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know nothing. I'm nobody. Who am I? But I'm trying to tell you right now that Tannehill, there was like I'll even go back before him, Chad Henne. And I have to admit, I'm such a big fan that I wanted to believe that Henne was the future, right? I'm such a big fan. I wanted to believe that Tannehill was the future. I gave Tannehill 7 good years of my hard life. Okay, my wife. I sacrificed after Sunday afternoons with my wonderful, beautiful wife, and had them with Brian Tannehill. And you see how he treated us.
He didn't treat us. That team treated us.
Man, come on now, don't do that.
Listen, Pat White's hit. The hit he took was more memorable than Tua Tagovailoa.
I'm gonna do you one better. The hit that Pat White took was more memorable than any Tannehill touchdown pass, with the exception of the Miami Miracle. That's it. That's all it needs to be said.
But he had it.
I was at that game. I'm trying to tell you, when I tell people the greatest experience of my life as a Dolphins fan was the Miami Miracle, right? Okay. 7 seconds. I'm in my seat. I am in my own feelings. Okay. I am in my Drake, my best Drake. Okay. And I'm trying to tell you right now, my wife's like, they're going to win. Don't even worry about it, baby. They're going to win. Come on now. There's a lot of Tua slander going on right now. What is going on? Doug, my guy, I am not slandering this man. All right. That is the person up here in this corner. Her.
Me? How am I slandering him? I'm supporting him.
She's bringing on the slander by saying he was the most memorable quarterback the Dolphins had in the last 20 years.
Oh, it's definitely Tannehill. It's Tannehill, Fielder.
I'll even say Brocktober was more memorable.
Really?
Just that one October.
Brock Osweiler?
Just that one October.
We forgot one name.
Name the 4 games. Name the 4 games. If you can name the 4 games you played in October that year, I'll let you have that.
I'm just trolling, man. I'm just joking. But the Bears was the first.
We forgot Mr. $10 million man himself with a cigarette in his mouth.
No. We don't say his name over here. The biggest disgrace of all time, man. The hands on the hip king. Wildcat, like I ain't even a part of this. You gotta guard me. Load the box over there. I'm no threat.
You talking about I came in the best shape ever. Ryan Fitzpatrick was in better shape when he came in with a gut than Jay Cutler ever was playing for the Miami Dolphins.
You know, the sad thing about it is that as much as we hate the Gase era, he gave us a playoff berth. He gave us the Miami Miracle. Mm-hmm. So we can't completely abolish it, even though it was
Tannehill gave us hope.
Huh? Listen,
he gave us hope. I'll 100% agree with that. But my
we didn't have in a long time.
Does it hurt seeing him be successful with Tennessee?
No.
It doesn't hurt me because I knew he always had it in him. It's just that we didn't have the team that was built for him.
Yeah, you're right.
You know how many people
and Gase we trust.
Listen, you know people call me crazy in Jersey because I would say, man, we got Tannehill coming back from injury. We're going to make noise this season and all this. And they were looking at me like, what are you talking about? And this is legit. I was saying all of that right before he got injured in that training camp. And next thing you know, I remember standing on the floor and they're like, you guys got Jay Cutler. And I said, excuse me? And they were like, you guys signed Jay? I said, no, we didn't.
$10 million.
Yeah, because I was at that moment, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like we could go out, get Kaepernick, something like that. I think Kaepernick was still available at that time. I'm like, yo, we're going to get
that needed a quarterback. Kaepernick came up in their conversation.
Right. And they were like, you guys got Jay Cutler. And I was pissed.
What are you going to do?
At the end of the day, Tannehill was a really good quarterback for us. We never got over the hump because we had more flaws than our quarterback on that team. And a lot of the blame needs to go to the coaching staffs.
100%.
I mean, that's what our issue was mainly at that time. But seeing him in Tennessee do what he doing, he ain't the reason they losing, and he's helping the team out. Now in the postseason, he's 2-2 for 500 record. Oh wait, is he? Hold on. Yeah, he 2-2, got a 500 record in the postseason. Mm-hmm. The man has 0 postseason appearances with Miami and already got 4 games under his belt in 2 seasons in Tennessee. Hey. It ain't easy to get there, and that's crazy.
That is crazy. Championship game, right?
Yeah, AFC Championship. Josh Allen, that bum.
Here, you know what's funny? So I was talking with a couple of fans, interacting with them on social media the other day, and obviously, the reason that you guys are having this conversation is because Tua gets so much hate, right? And I've never seen anybody get the hate that this man has had over a 9-game period. Well, somebody decided to point out to me Bills fans after 9 games with Josh Allen. So I started looking up the numbers. Allen had worse numbers than Tua had. Okay. And so at the end of the day, if he's anything to be able to show success, Tua's going to be I truly believe I want Ken Dorsey so bad. Please, Ken Dorsey, come be our offensive coordinator, because with him, along with Fry, match made in heaven for success.
At the end of the day, time is going to tell us. But I mean, when we compare these guys, there's too many factors to compare. Everybody goes and look at the numbers and they say Tua's completion percentage was this, Josh Allen's was that. Tua's touchdown was this, Josh Allen was that. His interceptions was this, and Josh Allen was that. Tua looked better. 3 stats out of 50 different stats. But when you go to the advanced stats, it ain't even close. When you go look at the advanced stats, Tua ain't close to nobody everybody trying to compare him with. Bad throw percentages. All of those stats and stuff that makes a world of a difference.
You know what even the real conversation that we need to have is offensive line, because Miami hasn't had one. And if Miami decided to have a real offensive line at all in the last 15 years, we would have had some success in the postseason. Point blank.
Yeah, in the last 15, but last year I thought this O-line did very well.
You know,
they're getting better, but they're still not. You know, I want to get Alex Leatherwood so bad in the draft.
Okay,
you know, and I totally get. Like, I don't want to hear no more talk about Deshaun Watson at all. If I hear that man's name in any Dolphins chat, get off the chat. Okay,
he's coming. He's coming.
He's not.
Where?
He's not.
To play them when he's playing for the Jets? That's about it.
Where are y'all getting this Jet stuff from? The reports just came out that was absolutely false, and then the other report came out that the Houston Texans actually are very high on Tua.
Hey, King Mill 908, get out of the chat talking about Watson.
No, that's my guy. That's my guy. But no, can I? We need to make this deeper. We as a fan base have this hole and this deep insecurity about our QB position that if it's not instantaneous success, we are so quick to covet anything else out there. Because for so long, TD, you want to read their records again? And the same reason why I refuse to buy a QB jersey is because of the lackluster play that we've had. And because of that, and we see everybody else's young quarterbacks coming in and just something snapping, we're like, oh no, let's go run and hide. No, you got to give a guy, anyone who comes back from any injury, time to truly, and especially in a joint injury, that mobility in it, it takes time for it to get loosened. This is our own fan base's personal insecurity when it comes to this position. And we just got to chill out, trust in Greer, trust in Flores. And since they said he's our starting quarterback, my QB wears number 1.
See, I think Phinsanity is right in that regards, because we all, a lot of us have those symptoms. But like for me, everybody think that I'm giving up on Tua when he's our starting quarterback next year. I'm not giving up on him. I've always argued 1 point and 1 point only. since we don't know if he's going to be our, 10, 20-year quarterback, we can all be hopeful and, optimistic that he is. But based off of what he did last year, nobody can come to a firm conclusion that this is definitely the guy. So where's the backup plan? What we haven't had in the last 20 years was a backup plan. Nobody ever competed with Tannehill. We never had a backup plan. Where is the guy just in case Tua doesn't work out? Or where is the plan that you have in place just in case he doesn't work out? That's my biggest thing.
Well, I want to get into deeper with that, right, TD? So let's take that even deeper. Number one, what is a valued cost? Like, what is it okay to give up on a quarterback that's a free agent that would help your team, right? So what is okay? Let's forget about Watson for a second. I just want to know what's okay. And then the second phrase to that is, what do you look for in a collegiate quarterback that's like, you know what, this guy is going to transition to the pros? Because let's remember, guys, Brady was a 6th-round pick.
I
Mahomes wasn't the first quarterback drafted in his draft class.
I got your answer. So the first one you said, like if there's a free agent, like how much are you talking monetary?
Yeah, like you know what? If let's forget the Dolphins, just for an NFL team, period. If I'm an NFL team with an average quarterback or a young quarterback that is not produced yet, right? If I'm a GM, what is okay for me to give up to go out and get a free agent quarterback for my fan base to see, you know what, we didn't give up too much, or we mortgaged the future, but it was worth the risk for who we got.
So since you're going deep with that, right? Let's meet in the deep end here. That cannot be answered until you determine what you're trying to build as a team. You can be building a defense-heavy team where all you need is an average quarterback, slightly above average quarterback to like Trent Dilfer, like your Joe Flacco's. Or you can say, I'm not going to have the best defense in the league. We're going to be middle of the road, but I'm going to go get my best quarterback and put weapons all around them. So you can't really answer it until you know what type of system and what type of team identity you are trying to build. That's number one, right? And number two, you said, what is a collegiate quarterback that needs to come in the league? And this is the theory that I've been preaching for the last 2.5 years. We got to stop thinking it's the guy who's coming out as a Heisman candidate. We got to stop. Here's the thing. It's not their fault. Here's the tricky part about it. It's not the quarterback's fault that they had the best offensive line in college football. So you don't know what their real pocket awareness is if they're never under pressure. It's not their fault that they have the best receivers in college football. So you're throwing like practice all day in wide open windows. So it's not your fault that we really don't know how great you are in tight windows or with a large sample size. It's not your fault that you pick up that your third down situation is always manageable since you got the best run game in college football, getting 4 and 5 yards a chunk, and you got easy third down situations and no 3rd and 15s. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is, you are always gambling if you're taking a quarterback from a top team in college football, because there's a lot you don't know about that quarterback because you haven't seen him in the situation that Brady was in every week in college football. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
So there are some guys that play for 500 college teams that if they were on Alabama would blow your top quarterbacks out of the water. But hindsight, you're not going to be able to see that because they're not having a college. Everybody's going off of what they did in high school, but high school serves the same. There are some powerhouse high schools out here that these kids are putting up powerhouse numbers and they're the best in the country. But then there's kids that don't have an O-line that are great quarterbacks in high school too.
When you build up a program, why as a GM would I not go out and say, you know what? Let me go get the entire offensive line of LSU and Alabama. Because
it's not realistic. You can't.
Miami's got a real shot to get 2, maybe even 3 offensive linemen from Alabama this year. because they're projected 1, 3, and 5, I think.
Here's another piece to it, Steven. You're translating Alabama's offensive line, but when they get in the NFL, when they get in the NFL and they're playing against Khalil Mack and Aaron Darnold, they may look like powder puff girls.
And by the way, I'm not promoting that. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate, you know.
But that's the deal. We automatically assume because you got 5 guys who are top in the nation, all benefiting from each other. But in the NFL, there isn't the same advantage. There isn't the same clear-cut advantage in the NFL. But you don't get to see them in college playing against the lack of an advantage. Now, if they were in college and you had 10 teams in your conference that was Alabama worthy and you all were beating each other up, now the real guys are going to stand out.
Yeah, you're right.
But you don't have that because college is a monopoly now. So that's the biggest trick that's happening in football. You thinking, and put it like this, here's to prove my point. There are more first-round busts than first-round successes. That enough said. You always go the first round, the best in the nation at every position. There are more busts at that than there are successes.
So does it go on to coaching and developing talent? Because, you know, we've supposedly have had guys in here over the last 20 years that have been quarterback gurus or somebody who can help do it. Look who we have up in the tower. We have Marino. Marino can. So what is Miami doing wrong the last 20 years that is not translating to success at the quarterback position or success at the win-loss level?
That's why I love the NFL in the game of football, because anybody that answers that question, they're doing themselves a disservice. It can be 50 reasons, or it can be a combination of reasons. One of the big ones has been the front office. So if you have front office issues, but then you fix the front office issues, but when you fix it, the personnel that they're inherited is trash. And as they're trying to correct what they inherited, it's not happening fast enough, so the right front office gets fired, and you bring in a new front office that inherits the good fix. Then they're looking good for a moment, then they go to being trash because they were never the people who could find it in the first place. So this goes to Phinsanity's point, even with Tua. There has to be a level of patience exercised in the game of football. But at the same token, there are some things that you can see from day one that's very glaring and obvious. And this game is so vast and complex. Everybody thinks it's just what you see on the field, whether you're putting up points or you're not, whether you're stopping someone or you're not. It's so much more complex than that, and it's not easy. And your best organizations, it starts at the top. You got to be on point at the top. And then from there, you have to have a game plan and a philosophy of becoming a winning organization. And another thing, just because your philosophy is what it is today, 3 years from now, the whole NFL, the way that things are going can change, and you got to be able to change with that. Hasn't so many things changed? We went from the pocket quarterback to the running backs being the premier position to the scramble quarterbacks. Now we're dealing with the scramble quarterbacks getting too much money, which is hurting the team. That's another element. It's so many different elements that keeps changing. We can have a Russell Wilson all we want, and we can get the one Super Bowl. But what good is that if we're going to the playoffs every year after he gets his money and lose in the first round every year because of the impact? But some people will say that's good enough for me. But is it? You know, don't you always want the ultimate goal? And there's indicators in the NFL that teach you lessons if you pay attention to them. I hate the Patriots, but you got to go pay attention to who's doing it successfully. Mm-hmm. Why were the Patriots successful? They always started out with a good defense. They made sure that they never overpaid on the O-line. They went 7 years in a row in their hottest streak where they paid no more than $20 million on a combined O-line. No lie. And their quarterback took a deal that said he prefers better talent surrounding him. And it didn't come in the form like people thought. oh, he got the best receivers. That wasn't true. He had good receivers, not the best. And he always had 2 or 3 good backs back there if they ever wanted to pound the rock. Not great running backs, but good ones. And they spread it out. They're not sitting here saying, I need Tyreek Hill. I need
Derrick Henry.
Yeah, they're not saying that. All they're saying is, give me on a scale of 1 to 10 with players, all we need is a whole bunch of 7 and 8s. And that's going to allow us to have more, like 5 more of them on our roster than you got all those 10.
He's like,
no, I have to go. This is an amazing discussion brought to you guys on Phinsanity Monday. I'm going to plug myself in this. Hey, Steven, everyone, if you don't know this is the VP of Miami Sports Music. You guys can continue this. I don't need to be here for this because this is great dialogue. And I think you have the fan base's undivided attention, but I have a nephew who needs to be picked up. And if I'm not there on time, my sister is going to get at me. All right. So God bless you all. Y'all enjoy this. I will be listening. Thank you guys for all watching. And TD.
Mm-hmm.
Tua's going to get us a Super Bowl. Tua's going to
Pat White will get us a Super Bowl. I agree.
Tua will get us a Super Bowl. There we go.
I hope so. I hope so. But take care of your business. I'll hit you up this evening. All right.
All right, cool.
Phinsanity, I'll see you on Saturday.
Yes, sir. Bye, guys.
All right, thank you. But yeah, it's vast, man. It's vast. It's so much to talk about, so much to think about. But there's a lot of obvious things in this league, but some people are ignoring them. Some teams.
One of the things that I thought you brought up a very good point is that at the end of the day, it's the front office, right? So you had guys like Jeff Ireland. You had guys, that come in and
mm-hmm.
What have we had since Marino? We've had 21 different starting quarterbacks. We've had 9 different head coaches, 7 or 8 GMs, hell, 2
mm-hmm.
owners, right? The inconsistency is what makes us not consistent in the win column. And so it's tough to do that. Now, what I have liked, I'm not saying Greer is a great GM. I'm not saying he's a bad GM. I like Greer right now. Right now, Greer has showed me by bringing in a guy like Flo, this is the type of person I want running the football team and directing the football team, right? And so you brought up another thing. When you bring in a new guy, you then got to worry about, well, does this person like the quarterback or does he not? Dan
mm-hmm.
Campbell just took the head coaching job in Detroit. What's the very first thing they did? Part ways with Stafford. And it's not because Stafford's a bad quarterback, but Campbell's like, head coaches get 2 years, maybe 3 if they're lucky, right? There's no Marvin Lewis's anymore. So, or Jeff Fisher's, who can stay at a team for 30 years and not get fired
mm-hmm.
after all the mediocrity that they both have consumed. But the point I'm trying to make is, if I'm gonna go down swinging, I'm gonna go down swinging with a team that I put together. And
True.
So that's the one thing that I love about Flo. Flo bringing in Fry as the quarterback's coach tells me everything I need to know. And that is, if we're gonna go down, we're gonna go down swinging as this guy with this guy. And at the end of the day, I think part of the problem is Gase never believed in Tannehill, right? Philbin never believed in Tannehill. You go back to Sperano. Sperano never had a quarterback that he was able to believe in. And then you keep on going back all the way to the Jimmy Johnson days. Jimmy didn't even believe in Marino at the end, right? So it's, where do you win? And I think where you win is when a head coach believes in their quarterback, when the GM believes in the head coach. And right now we have both of those things, and that's a big deal.
Well, there's a caveat to that. I agree. You need your head coach to believe in him. But here's where I caution that, okay, with Flores. You don't have to go down swinging with no one. You don't have to allow anyone to take you down if you know that's what they're going to do. Not saying that that's what Tua's going to do. Not saying that at all. But if at any point you feel like, you know what, this guy's going to take me down, You don't have to stay. What makes you smart is moving on. What makes the organization smart is look at Stafford. Maybe 4 years ago, somebody said, this guy's going to take me down, but you know what? I'm going to go out swinging with them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do that. You believe in him now, especially since you drafted him. But great coaches and great general managers, they recognize where they were wrong sooner than later, and they go to correct it versus trying to maintain a reputation and die with it. So a smart GM and coach, to me, I got Tua Tagovailoa. It didn't look the greatest in his rookie season. I still believe in him. I think he's going to turn out to be our great. But since there is a little bit of, it wasn't what I thought initially, let me make sure I got a backup plan. Even if I don't execute that backup plan this year. Maybe the backup plan is something as simple as trading out of number 3 to number 8 and picking up an extra first-round pick next year, and that's our backup plan. It could be so many different things, but no, I don't want to hear any narrative where they don't have a backup plan.
I think Phinsanity brought up a great point, and you did as well. I don't know if it was you or Phinsanity that said, our franchise, our fan base is so out there right now because at the end of the day, look what we've been through, right? We had an opportunity to get Drew Brees. And when that opportunity came, we said, all right, well, I'd rather take Culpepper's, injury over Brees because Culpepper's injury has a history of better success in being better than Brees does. Well, we saw that was the wrong mistake, right? Mm-hmm. Let's look at Nick Saban. We had the greatest college coach in the history of football, and we couldn't keep him, right? Let's look at guys like, Brandon Marshall, Ricky Williams. We've had some really good, talented guys at these skilled positions. Junior Seau coming at the end of his career. Joey Porter coming at the end of his career. We've had guys like Cameron Wake. We've had guys, even go back to Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas. And the issue with a lot of that is it's good. The fan base likes them, but we have just been jaded so much that it's so tough to fall in love with somebody without giving it some sort of, well, it could be better than, or they're not as good as, or because we haven't won a playoff game in 20 years. Mm-hmm. And when you haven't won a playoff game in 20 years, when you've been jaded, when ownership has changed and head coaches, and I understand why fans go off the deep end. No pun intended to the deep end in Miami. But I get it. I understand it. And so what I want to do as a fan, and again, shameless plug, what I'm trying to do at Miami Sports Music is to get the coverage with people, to understand that the Dolphins are a good franchise and we have something special right now. And if we as fans don't understand what we have right now, we're going to take it for granted. And this is going to be a fun ride. And look, you look at what Buffalo did last night, and you saw Stephon Diggs on the field at the end of the game, and Sean McDermott I want somebody like that. I want somebody that's so hurt that they're watching it because they want to remember it. They want it ingrained in their brain how it felt. Give me that all day long. Give me Devontae Smith at 3.
Well, Buffalo just needs a better quarterback. So that's about it, pretty much.
I saw somebody come up there that said, I just got off work. Did TD talk about Bum Allen yet?
Hey, listen, I'm waiting for Wednesday night on the AFC East roundtable. I get with a few fellas in the AFC East that have YouTube channels, and it's going down this Wednesday night. But yes, man. But Josh Allen, he flaked out. He was a bum last night, and he was what I kept telling everybody he was. In man-to-man coverage, when you pressure him and send pressure, you saw they sent pressure all night. He was running. It was like, he's number 1 versus the blitz. Yeah, when they run in those ridiculous zones. But when they man up with these guys, see, the Chiefs were giving a zone look, but then they ran to their guy right away and followed him. And Allen had nowhere to go because he's used to throwing to wide open guys. And that's why, listen, even when people say, hey, Allen, they gave Allen time, he was bad at first. You're missing, I think you're missing it. Just like Tannehill. He was bad at times, but look what he did in Tennessee. What's around you can make you look good. Even some of the bad quarterbacks. Sam Darnold could look good on some of these teams, believe it or not. No, we laugh. Now, if you put Sam Darnold on the Chiefs, he wouldn't be Mahomes, but he would have so much more success.
He would.
I wouldn't even be surprised if they didn't at least fight for a wild card. But that's my point. So some of these guys are products of what's around them. Some of these guys are what's around them is a product of them elevating them. And Josh Allen, when he had nothing, was nothing. When he finally got everything around him, he looks good.
Yeah.
But again, in the NFL, soon as he gets his non-rookie contract, which he's going to get a really nice one because he's putting up all these numbers, being masked by guys like Stephon Diggs, he got to come back down to earth with less talent around him. And I always tell people, when you go from paying a quarterback $5 million to $50 million, and you got to reduce
the expectation changes.
Yeah, but the team doesn't get better. They get worse because you got to go through your roster and take away $45 million. So you're paying. That's why I always say with the Ravens, that's a team that need to move on. They would be served justice if they move on right now and shock the world. It would be smart.
Time out from what, Lamar?
Listen, let me explain it to you. Lamar Jackson. Let me explain it to you. Let me explain it to you. So you mean to tell me a guy who's making pennies, right? It's all about the playoffs and Super Bowls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is he so limited in the playoffs? Because teams take away his one strength, which is rushing. What good are you if they take away your one strength and you can't adjust and stick them another way? But you're going to ride the next 10, 15 years to the death of a guy who will win you 11 games every year just to flake out in the playoffs against the better defenses? And let me add to this. Before you say something, Stephen, let me add the real point that I'm trying to make. The real point that I'm trying to make is the guy's making pennies right now. But his roster, Lamar Jackson with the $45 million less of a roster around him, think about that. Take away $45 million worth of talent from around him, then what do you have? A 7-9 team?
Yo, I'm going to say this right now. Your logic is correct from the standpoint of
it's been proven.
If somebody's worth pennies and you start paying them dollars, that you have to release those dollars from somewhere. I get that point 100%. And I agree with you on that logic. Now, to Lamar, a lot of people know.
Let me write down the word logic. Logic. All right, go ahead.
All right. All right. Look, let me tell you something. I live in Baltimore. Okay. So I hear from Purple every day, all these Ravens fans up here. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the number one thing that I will say is a lot of people don't realize how good you have it with certain quarterbacks, right? I remember for such a long time, people ripped Joe Flacco here in Baltimore, right? And what I would say is I would have killed to have Joe Flacco on the Dolphins roster for years, right? Mm-hmm. At least in his prime. So I'm looking at Lamar Jackson. Lamar can sit in a pocket. He chooses not to, but he can sit in a pocket and throw it 50 yards downfield. He has no problem doing that. The arm strength is there.
But it ain't accurate. That's the point. It ain't accurate.
The man is a former MVP already, okay?
Due to rushing.
At the end of the day, there's nobody there's nobody in the draft that I see coming up with the exception of Trevor Lawrence, right? That I would want more than Lamar Jackson over the next few years.
here's the point of what I'm saying. What is your team? What is your ultimate goal? What is your ultimate goal?
Super Bowl. And I think that you can do that. You got to remember.
You can't do that with him, and here's why.
Won a Super Bowl.
See, you said logic. You said logic, right? But at some point, logic.
Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl, man.
Let me. What happened?
Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl.
But you got to ask yourself why and how. So let's break this down. You brought up logic, right? The logic makes sense. But the problem is it's been tested. And let me walk you down this road of it being tested, okay? What do we say about Cam Newton, Kaepernick, RG3, and all those guys when they were on their rookie contract? When they were balling out. They were we were saying the same thing. What happened? The next, oh my God, do you see what these guys and Cam Newton was the MVP, right? At least he did something with it. But anyway,
you went to a Super Bowl.
So when but I said at least he did something. But still, what was the result, right? So
ringless.
My thing is, we keep going through the same thing every 6-7 years in the NFL. We don all these young kids that are on rookie contracts the same way, and they have immense success on their rookie deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the best team that they will ever have around them as long as they have that itty bitty money as a cap hit.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as they get their real money, where it starts counting against the cap, all of that goes out of the window. It happened to all three of those guys. Now let's go to the next generation. Andrew Luck, Russell Wilson.
If Andrew could stay healthy,
hold on, that's fine. But Andrew Luck, Russell Wilson, all of those guys, that was a whole nother group of quarterbacks. Immense success on their rookie deal. Soon as they got their real money, playoff first round exits. As soon as think about Russell Wilson, who was gonna say, everybody said he's gonna end up, he has a chance to be the greatest when it's all said and done. So, no, I'm saying early on with the success he had early, he can end up being one of the greatest.
He does have Sierra. Come on now.
Well, that's all good, But ever since he got his money, it doesn't matter if you're first round exit every year because you don't have enough talent surrounding you to get it done. So you can stick with these high-profile quarterbacks. So I asked the Miami Dolphin fans, if we have a high-profile quarterback, I don't care if we had Lamar Jackson, it doesn't matter. If he never won us nothing on his rookie deal because he gets shut down in the playoffs every time, his true weakness comes out, and we go to the playoffs every single year and get bounced in the first or second round for the next 20 years, is that good with you as a Miami Dolphin fan? Is that good with you?
It's not.
And the logic, and let me tell you this. I want you to consider this before you answer it. Every year when the season is over and you get bounced, you identify, man, we just need that and that. But how are we going to get it? Our cap is strapped. Every year you think about that. Well, we drafted good, but we got more people coming up for a new contract that we can't afford. We can go get new good talent, but we got to let some of it go because we keep.
So what's your question?
Are you good with that? Having a great quarterback that takes you to the playoffs every year and gets bounced in the first and second round and never has AFC Championship or Super Bowl success?
Okay. I'm going to take a long way around this question. Okay. So first of all, if you ask somebody what it takes to win a Super Bowl, let's say as early as 3 years ago, right? And 20 years before that, defense wins championships, right? The reality of that is wrong now. You don't have to have a great defense to win a Super Bowl, all right? You don't. In my opinion, even though it did not turn out that yesterday, Buffalo's defense is better than Kansas City's. That's just my personal opinion, right? Now, they didn't play like that yesterday, but at the end of the day, if you look at the numbers, Buffalo's defense is great, right? So I don't think you need a great defense to win a championship, right? And then you have, let's look at guys like Brad Johnson. Let's look at guys like who else has won a Super Bowl that's mediocre. Brad Johnson.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this real quick. Let me ask you this, because you said you don't need a great defense anymore to win a Super Bowl. I disagree.
It doesn't require one. It doesn't.
Well, it does. I believe it does require one. There's just one caveat. See, this is the element that you're missing in it. It doesn't require a great defense to win a Super Bowl if you have a quarterback on a rookie deal. But I will sit here and wait forever on the team that won a Super Bowl without a defense and their quarterback wasn't on an introductory deal. Okay. I'll sit here and wait forever. You see what I'm saying? That's
I'm trying to answer your question, though. I'm trying to answer your question. What I'm trying to get at is they don't have to be great, right? But if you look at all the Super Bowl winners, with the exception of Trent Dilfer and with the exception of Brad Johnson, maybe one or two others, you have a great quarterback, right? And you have a great quarterback. With the exception of Mr. Brady, because he has just been in so many Super Bowls over the last 20 years, all right, 10 of them to be exact now, all right, you have to understand that there's even a glimmer of hope, of greatness, not even this person's a starter in the NFL, but of greatness. MVP is part of that, right? You got to play him until he shows you that he just cannot do it for years at a time. And so right now, Ravens fans have to live and die with Lamar. And they should, right? They should.
No. Here's the element that you keep pushing, you keep jumping over. You're jumping over the money.
Man, I'm a big guy. I ain't jumping that high, man. Come on.
Well, the one thing, it's the money, bro. Everything you said is true when you don't consider the money. But as soon as the money comes into play, it's not true anymore. No quarterbacks off of their rookie deal that's making more than 15% of the salary cap is winning a Super Bowl. It's just not happening because
Tim Tebow.
they don't have enough around them. That's the big thing that they keep, you got to live and die with your quarterback. That's why everybody's dying. Unless he's on a rookie deal, you're dying. Now there's two different eras.
You do realize in the last 20 years, this is the first time that a team, with the exception of the Patriots, exception of the Patriots.
Which is half of those 20 years.
Okay, with the exception of the Patriots, this is the first time that we have a real potential of seeing a back-to-back Super Bowl champions. That's legit. Yes. Mahomes could do it
on a rookie deal.
So what I hear you saying, as I've learned in marriage counseling, what I hear you saying is, honey, is that you're telling me that a rookie deal is the make or break game to see if a quarterback's going to be successful or not. So by paying Ryan Tannehill after his rookie deal, we should have known that it wasn't going anywhere. Is that what you're telling me?
15% of the cap.
I'm asking.
15. If any quarterback you pay more than 15% of the cap, it has never gone anywhere. That's all I'm saying. I study it. It has never went anywhere. If you pay them more than 15% of the cap, leaving the rest of the team strung out, it never went anywhere. That's my thing. When I do all my studies and analysis on the game of football, follow the number 15%. So go through the quarterbacks, look at who's making more than 15% of the salary cap, and right there is your answer. There is your answer.
I will say that
Mahomes,
you're an analytics person. You look at numbers, right? And so numbers to you. So let me ask you, by analytics standards, would you have kicked the field goal yesterday or went for the touchdown with Aaron Rodgers?
I would go for the touchdown.
Thank you. Now, analytics says in that particular position with 3 timeouts before the 2 minutes that would have given you a fourth with a decent defense, analytics said to kick a field goal, right?
Yeah, but the defense hadn't played.
But you're a numbers guy, TD.
No, the analytics did not say kick the field goal. Let me tell you what the analytics said. With a decent defense, with the defense that they were ranked with.
But that game, Brady 3 times, bro.
That game had already wiped out the defensive analytics. They couldn't stop. Listen, they intercepted Brady 3 times and couldn't capitalize off of it. So you were already down there. It's the analytics already also tell you it ain't premium to get down there.
Hold on. Bromar Smelly said, bro, Tua did not wow anyone. He didn't play like a top 15 quarterback. Let's give Tua some time and see if he can be. No, who just
of course,
said
he's gonna have time.
Somebody else said, oh man, I could have swore I just saw somebody said something to the effect that
Steven.
Yeah,
I was supposed to be out of here at 6, just like Phinsanity, but I kept it going. We're gonna have to pick this up later.
All right, well, look. Anybody who's watching right now, Saturday night at 7 p.m., exclusively on Miami Sports Music's YouTube. Give me a break. Hey, exclusively on Miami Sports Music's YouTube page, we are having a virtual event that we will be relaunching the Miami Sports Music website, where we will have announcements that will include this guy right here. I had to go. This guy right here, as well as Phinsanity. And I'm talking with some more new people tomorrow. And so I think it's even going to be bigger if those conversations go well tomorrow. So I'm pretty excited about it. We're going to have TPP do some charity raffles. And we're also going to have some DWA swag giveaway. 7 p.m., Miami Sports Music YouTube page. Check it out. It's going to be awesome. I want to see everybody there that's watching right now. It's going to be good times.
Appreciate you, Steven, for coming through, man.
Man, I appreciate you.
Hey, man, listen, 15%. Remember that, all right? Hey, I appreciate everybody watching. This is TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Don't forget to check out MSM, guys. They're doing big things. Do not miss Saturday. It's about to go down, man. Miami Sports Music on the rise. This TDPHINSTALK. We are out. Peace.